Does size matter? A question asked by the greatest philosophers of both our time and times before. Is it too big? Is it too small? Yes? But no? For one to ponder upon the great question, does size matter, and come to the conclusion that yes, size does not matter, we can make a few conclusions about that kind of individual ourselves. Hello there, Internet, and welcome to Sans. Today, I am sick. Sick of Legos, crap! But no, I'm also actually sick. And also, we're asking the question, does size matter when it comes to Lego sets? Okay, go. We need to set the groundwork if we want to properly answer our question with two different things. First, we have to set aside the preconceived notion that there is an alternative answer to does size matter, which is no. We gotta get that one out of here, and I have scientific evidence to prove why it is yes. If size didn't matter, this hat would fit my head perfectly, but since it's meant for toddlers, it's not working. We must also cover what came before the Titanic and other monumental sets. It'd be fair to assume that the first Lego set produced would also be the biggest set at the time, and we will go with that assumption. Because answering the question, what is the first Lego set ever produced, is a little bit more difficult than you would think, we're just going to go with what Bricklink offers. That set would be set number 700 automatic binding bricks from 1949 with an astonishing 142 bricks, which is a lot more than I thought it would be. A lot of the very early sets had 1, 2, like 5 parts max, so for the very first one to have over 100 is a pretty big deal. Not in today's standards, but pretty big then. It wouldn't be until 1956 when another set came along and took the crown of biggest Lego set ever, with set number 700 gift package with a whopping 246 bricks. It was quickly surpassed 2 years later with set number 700 wooden storage box with contents with 493 parts. Why are these all the same set number? There was a quite consistent gradual increase with sets passing other sets by a couple hundred parts here and there. Every few years a new one would come around and, like a gentleman, the sets thanked them for their time in the spotlight and moved on. Thank you, it was a good run, but it's my turn. I must say, thank you for the opportunity. 765 run with 5 years, but now it's time for some new blood. In 1972, a Lego set nearly broke the benchmark of 1,000 parts in one kit. It came close with 900, and that was Denken mit Lego, which roughly translated into big-ass Lego set. 900 is where our number sat for nearly 20 years until someone came a-knocking. It was the 90s, and we're all pissed off for some reason, and I can't quite figure it out. 1991, it was 20 years, a set finally came along. Did we hit that big 1,000 number? No, we got 900 and what the The 90s were still kicking strong because the same year this pathetic, pitiful little parts pack came out, a new monument came out with 2,165 parts. The giant Lego Topic set. Alright. It's, in the most literal term, a parts pack. Woo. After this set came out, it was a little bit of a trickle, but the floodgates were open. Enormous sets, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 parts were flying all over the place. And when the 2000s hit, Slave Temple of Air Jitsu, the Tumbler, Statue of Liberty, Heavy Duty Tow Truck, Carousel, Disney Treasure. Okay, slow down. Slow down. Oh my God, stop. Stop. In short, there were a lot of big sets. You were not a theme worth buying on anybody's radar if you didn't have a set with at least 2,000 parts. Your biggest theme part set is 500 parts? What are you, a little baby? You meant for little babies because you're a little Dupo set? See, throughout the 2000s, 2010s, there was this little race no one was really paying attention to. The race was to see who could gain Titanhood the fastest. For a set to have the label of Titan, which is something I came up with, it's a little acronym which means that's a big ass set, they had to be big. Not just big, but the biggest. 2017 hit, and oh my God, $800? That's a used car. It's a used car with 7,513 pieces, but that's Jesus. For some perspective, the last set to hold the title was the Taj Mahal in 2008. So there was a good number of years between 2008 and 2017 when there wasn't a whole lot of competition. There were a few sets that pushed out the back door and tried to force themselves in. A handful of Ninjago City sets, the Hogwarts Castle, a Star Destroyer. They were close, but not quite, they didn't quite make the cut. It wasn't until 3 years later in 2020 when a new set would take the title, the Spqr Coliseum. A lot of people were upset that the Millennium Falcon was no longer the biggest, but it's the Coliseum. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world. It's colossal is in its name. It's literally named big. Fortunately for all the detractors, the $600 cat bed didn't really have the title that long. In 2021, a new set was crowned the largest Lego set ever, period. What could the new set be? The last 20 years has shown us that the largest LEGO set usually has some sort of big importance behind its design. Whether it be widely known, like Star Wars' Millennium Falcon, or super important to human history with the Coliseum, or just important to culture like the Taj Mahal, or even with the Liber, the largest LEGO Technic set, that's just a really big land vehicle. I mean, it's really big. This set needed to be enormously huge in scope, so that's what LEGO did. They picked something that's so big that you nor I could imagine its sheer size. They picked Planet Earth. The map was a catalyst for people to start questioning what really makes a LEGO set the biggest LEGO set. It's 2021, a few months after the release of the world map, and LEGO's about to release a new Titan set, the Titanic. With the Coliseum's pitiful, measly parts count of only 9,036, the Titanic easily took it over with its part count of 990 in a close second behind the world map. It was real close, real close. The world map only has, I don't know, like 12,000 parts. When the set was first revealed, it was marketed as not only the biggest LEGO set ever by both piece count, but also in its massive 53-inch length. It's not that massive. It was pretty smooth for LEGO to market what once was the biggest ship in the world as the new biggest LEGO set in the world. But it's not the biggest LEGO set, and any real remark, it's not the biggest by piece count, and it's not the longest either. LEGO Titanic, more like LEGO Titanic. While its length is very impressive, 53 inches isn't enough to tout it around as the longest. It's not even enough to tout it around as the longest set that's currently out. That title would go to the LEGO City set, the Cargo Train, which is currently still warming shelves at a cool 57.8 inches. But if you want to get technical, we can go to LEGO's website and look at the official blueprints of the set and see that it's, oh look, 57.8 inches. Before anybody wants to say, oh, you're wrong, it doesn't count. The tracks count. This isn't an assortment of train tracks that comes in an expansion accessory pack. This is an official LEGO set with instructions telling you how to lay out the train tracks for your set to be complete. It's the way the kit was intended to be completed. It's no different from the Titanic or any other set that follows instructions. If it's not the biggest by parts and it's not the biggest by length, then there's something we can pick and tear at to prove that it's the biggest in some roundabout way. What if it's the heaviest? All right, let's go by weight. But unfortunately, there isn't a website out there that has all of the weights of all the bigger sets that we could accurately show to each other, because either the set is built or the set's in box, or the set is in box without instructions, or the set's with instructions. It's some weird combination of one of those things, and it's not consistent across. So in fairness, we will weigh them in their shipment boxes. With 31 pounds, we have the Star Destroyer, and closely behind that, we have the Coliseum with 29 pounds. And coming in at a whopping 32 pounds, finally a winner at something, we have the Titanic. At second place again, because at number 1, we at 32.5 pounds, we have the Millennium Falcon. And there you have it, folks. The world's largest LEGO set is still the world map, unless you want to go by length, in which case it's a city train, or if you want to go by weight, it's the Millennium Falcon. But hey, Titanic fans, second's not that bad. It's a very respectable position. Too bad it's not yours. You got beat up by Chiba. You couldn't even make it to second place.